Because you can handle the truth.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero, because World War III is a really bad idea. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
And welcome to our show today. It is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, getting into the week here. It's been a very busy news day. We've got a lot to talk about. Mike is in our control room, twiddling the dials and keeping us out of trouble. And we're now exactly 2 weeks away from the election, 2 days away from the final presidential debate. A lot of Sturm und Drang happening about that. We'll get into that a little bit later in the show. So a little reminder that this Thursday in our second hour, Ammon Bundy will be our guest talking about what's been going on with the Patriot movement and some of the unfair smears that are being directed against them. Okay, before we get into the serious news, some fun science stuff here. Roughly 1 hour from now, the OSIRIS-REx sample return mission will sort of do a touch and go on the asteroid Bennu, which is hurtling through space at 63,000 miles per hour. And it's got this 11-foot-long robotic arm called TAGSAM. It will spend about 10 seconds collecting 2 ounces of loose rubble from the surface of the asteroid, then to head back to Earth, arriving in 2023. So that's kind of exciting, and I wish them all luck here. Now, earlier, actually late last week, there was a big deal being made about this asteroid that was going to hit Earth the day before the election. And Neil deGrasse Tyson was out there saying, don't worry, it's only the size of a refrigerator. It can't cause any damage. Well, they've refined the orbital track of this space rock, 218 VP1, and they're now saying it's going to miss. It'll come really, really close. They're calling it a buzz cut, but it's not going to actually hit the Earth. Okay, so getting on to the final presidential debate, the Presidential Debate Commission has instituted a bunch of changes. One of the ones that Donald Trump is not happy with is they're going to have mute buttons on the microphones of the two candidates. And the idea is when a question is asked, each candidate gets an uninterrupted 2 minutes to respond. After which there'll be direct interaction and the mics will be open. And the Trump campaign is convinced this is being done to help Joe Biden. But the Trump campaign says that Trump may actually pull back and just let Biden go on in the hope that he's going to stumble and fumble and bumble his way through this whole situation. The other change that the commission made that a lot of people are questioning is foreign policy is not going to be one of the topics being talked about. And of course, foreign policy is one of the areas in which Donald Trump is absolutely the strongest. So we'll see what happens between now and Thursday. Okay, now getting on into Hunter Biden's laptop, the story just gets murkier and murkier, and the shrieking on the other side to try and make it go away has reached absolutely hysterical portions here. But apparently, Hunter Biden's jailed partner, former business partner, has flipped and turned over a bunch of emails, and apparently buried in those emails were details of the deal with the former Moscow mayor's wife. Remember that $3.5 million that went from the Moscow mayor's wife to Hunter Biden's company? Well, it turns out it was part of a larger scheme to launder money into the U.S. to avoid sanctions. And Devon Archer is claiming his firm received $200 million. So this is just getting uglier and uglier. And I was noticing on social media, on the chats attached to videos and things, the latest Democrat talking point is, well, you know, Hunter Biden isn't running for president, so it's really irrelevant. Well, it's relevant if Joe, in fact, did get some of that money. It's relevant if Joe, in fact, did agree to meet certain people at the behest of Hunter Biden. But mostly, and I'm going to keep saying this, if Joe Biden can't manage his own family, he certainly cannot manage an entire country. And apparently Joe Biden, one of the reasons he's called a lid and he's in his basement from now until Thursday, is apparently reporters from the corporate media are starting to ask questions about Hunter's laptop. And Joe Biden's only response so far is to basically get in a huff and walk off. Okay, last night Fox News reported it obtained documents purportedly showing Hunter Biden's signature on paperwork from that Delaware computer repair shop where he left 3 MacBook Pro laptops to be repaired. One of them apparently containing the incriminating information was waterlogged. It got dropped into water and they needed to get that cleaned out here. And the documents match his signature on his paternity suit paperwork, and various other exemplars of his signature. So that's looking more and more like an undeniable part of the story. And as a matter of fact, the Biden campaign hasn't actually denied any of it. They're not denying it's his laptop. They're not denying the emails are real. They're just out there saying, oh, it's just a smear campaign. It's a nothing burger. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. Meanwhile, the Democrats as a whole are still out there screaming, it's all a Russian plot. Okay. Yeah, Adam Schiff is out there leading the cheer. This is all a Russian plot. Russia set this all up to happen. Yes, Russia convinced Hunter Biden to put all that incriminating information on his laptop, including reportedly videos of himself having sex with Chinese girls, which makes him open to blackmail by the Chinese government, I should point out here. And then the Russians arranged for Hunter Biden's laptop to get soaked in water, forcing him to take it to that computer store where they just knew the computer store repair person would look on the hard drive and then call the FBI. You want to talk about a wacko tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. But that's what Adam Schiff is out there. And of course, the DNI is saying, no, this is not part of a Russian campaign. This is all very much real. Now, we're seeing the gloves come off in this fight between the real world and social media. And apparently there was this Washington Post op-ed yesterday by a former political advertising executive for Twitter and Google that is calling for all social media to flat out ban President Trump until after the election winner is declared, to absolutely cut off the president of the United States from the American people. Now, that is arrogant, to say the least. And, you know, we have a coffee cup over at our online store that says the fastest way to bring down a dictatorship is to force them to act like one where everybody can see it. That's what's happening right now. This fury over the New York Post story and the laptop and the emails and the possible pedophilia is forcing social media to reveal itself as a government gatekeeper. Okay. Wikipedia is already out there insisting that this whole Hunter Biden scandal has been debunked. There's nothing there. Pay no attention to it at all. And of course, we've had questions about Wikipedia ever since they erased the entries for Michael Rivero and whatreallyhappened.com. But this absolutely confirms that they're there as another gatekeeper to tell you what the government wants you to believe rather than what you need to know. Over at Project Veritas, a whistleblower, a program manager at Google Cloud, basically admitted that Google's search engine is skewing results to benefit Democrats. Now, Ritish Lakar, who identified himself as a technical program manager at the cloud service, made the comments in footage released yesterday. And the interview, as is typical of Veritas, appears to have been filmed without Lakar's knowledge. The project manager accused Google of playing God with U.S. politics and skewing its algorithms to project negative news and talking points where Donald Trump is concerned. Okay, going on. And he says, you are just plain and simple trying to play God. The power is in the search. Trump says something, misinformation, you're going to delete. If a Democratic leader says that, then you're going to leave it. So that's what Google has been doing. And I sort of am enjoying the fact that the Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit against Google. Google is insisting the lawsuit is flawed. I've got mixed feelings about this lawsuit because I'm old enough to remember when the government broke up the telephone company for being a monopoly. And we got all the little baby bells afterwards, and there was all kinds of confusion. And do we carry other companies' traffics? And it took a long while to sort out. So I still think that the easiest way to get Google and the other social media to behave themselves is to revoke Section 230 and open them up to civil litigation by people who feel they're being unfairly defamed, slandered, or censored by the social media giants here. The chief executive of AT&T, John Stankey, is saying the tech giants hold way too much power over online streaming because apparently HBO Max still cannot get their service on Amazon and Roku. Okay. So the Justice Department has filed their landmark antitrust case against Google, and I think for the most part, it's a good thing. Because Google is stifling innovation. Part of the lawsuit is claiming that Google uses its preeminence to stifle competition, and that because of the biases inherent in its search engine, it's actually harming consumers. And I think those are two very good arguments. Meanwhile, Google, showing that it is completely unrepentant, has now added a Black-owned business badge to Black-owned businesses to divert money away from white-owned businesses. And, Yelp has allowed for people to filter through business listings to find specifically ethnic-owned businesses. And now Google is signing on with their special badge. Okay, getting on over to the confirmation battle over Amy Coney Barrett. Charles Schumer actually entered a motion to adjourn the Senate, to basically shut it down until the next Congress convenes, which would be after, January. The motion failed, of course, but Schumer is out there saying he's going to stop at nothing to prevent the nomination, or the confirmation, rather, of Amy Coney Barrett. I wonder if stop at nothing includes an attempted assassination. So, Amy, if you or you people are listening to this, make sure you're wearing your Kevlar undies. Righty. Here's another article about the debate commission here. This is from damagood.com. The debate commission scraps foreign policy focus in third debate. It's actually the second debate after Trump is nominated 4 times for the Nobel Peace Prize. And he didn't get it. But then the good news is neither did Greta Thunberg. Trump is objecting to the unfair mute button during the final debate with Biden, but says he will take part. All right. From the file of Where Are They Now? Apparently, Georgetown University has fired FBI Special Agent Peter Strzok as an adjunct professor at the university's Walsh School of Foreign Service, the School of International Relations at Georgetown. So Strzok is listed as an undergraduate adjunct professor at Georgetown, according to the university's website. Moreover, Georgetown University is mentioned in the bio of Strzok's Twitter account. So he found himself a nice landing place. Turning to the international news now, the Nagorno-Karabakh leader is now accusing Israel of supporting genocide. And basically, since the fighting broke out between Armenia and Azerbaijan, other countries have been accused of fueling the conflict by supplying weapons to both sides. And the leader of the disputed enclave took things a bit further and accused Israel of supporting a genocide against his people. All right. Now, Iran has issued a warning. Their defense minister says the Islamic Republic will give a clear and direct response to any possible Israeli threat against its interests in the Persian Gulf. In an interview with Al Jazeera, Brigadier General Amir Hatami reflected on a recent measure by the UAE and Bahrain to fully normalize relations with Israel through deals mediated by the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump, noting that such a measure will pose a direct threat to the security of the entire Persian Gulf region. Okay. Apparently, China is getting very upset over the fact the Department of Justice has detained Chinese research scientists accused of lying about working for the People's Liberation Army. This is basically an espionage scandal, and it broke about the same time as the COVID-19 pandemic hit the scene. And the Department of Justice was scouring around for these research scientists who were working in these classified areas in the United States in bioweapons research, who turned out they had pasts linked with the People's Liberation Army, and they had concealed it in the paperwork coming to this country. So that's why the Department of Justice has grabbed them. Now, Chinese government officials are threatening American counterparts, including through the U.S. Embassy in Beijing, action if the demands are not answered. So China is now threatening the U.S. and Canadian consular staffs and tourists. So this is getting really, really serious. All right, the big question that everybody is asking, this is coming from Russia Today, with all of the military buildup that we're seeing along the shores of the Taiwan Straits on the Chinese side, is China really about to invade Taiwan? They certainly seem to be making the noises in that direction. China's increased military posturing near the island of Taiwan has led observers to worry an invasion might be in the offing. China has just equipped its army with the most advanced hypersonic missile to prepare for that possible invasion of Taiwan. This is coming from cuzblue.com. Over in France, this is an ugly, ugly story. Police have arrested an 11th suspect in last Friday's grisly beheading. The government is vowing to disrupt terror financing networks. Now, this has led to a lot of consternation in France. Interestingly enough, French Muslims, as soon as this beheading had taken place, they started agitating, demanding amnesty and open borders. Again, a caller pointed out yesterday, this is getting a lot of coverage in the foreign press, hardly any here in the United States of America, because it underscores the dangers of an open borders immigration policy. Okay, so this teacher was decapitated by an 18-year-old immigrant from Chechnya, was shot and killed by police. The assailant was. The gruesome nature of the attack has rattled French citizens. Okay, so it's an ugly, ugly story over there. Down in Haiti, they're using rubber bullets and tear gas against their anti-government protesters. They're blocking roads and setting fires in the capital, Port-au-Prince. Several people have been injured. And this is the latest protest during more than a year of protests calling for the resignation of President Jovenel Moïse over corruption charges. Now, Haiti is currently experiencing a political impasse without a parliament and now is run by decree under Moïse. So it's a dictatorship by any other words. Okay. Apparently, Bolivia's movement to socialism party is celebrating a crushing landslide victory in last Sunday's elections. This basically is the complete defeat of the U.S.-backed coup government, who has now conceded defeat. And of course, here in the United States, the media is responding with apathy and disappointment and not much else. But apparently the latest attempt to take over a country by regime change has cratered, done a faceplant here. Now, this is a good idea. Former presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard is urging the U.S. Congress to seek to expel Turkey from NATO. And the Nagorno-Karabakh region declared independence from Azerbaijan in 1991, announced their plans to join Armenia, which led to the war. This is now being interfered with by Turkey. So Tulsi Gabbard has submitted a resolution to the House of Representatives calling for the expulsion of Turkey from NATO. That's actually a very good idea, because if Turkey mixes it up and drags Russia in there, I don't think we want to get dragged into a war with Russia just yet. Certainly not on behalf of Turkey. Okay, we're coming up here on a commercial break. We got a lot of news yet to cover here, so stay tuned, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we have been building our online store. Well, we have been focusing on bringing you the best talk show host in the country. Here at Republic Broadcasting Network, we also want our listeners to have products they can use every day and in times of emergency. We have added new products each week to our store. Your support of this network, plus products at the best prices, is a win-win situation. Check out our new store. Go to our website, republicbroadcasting.org, and click on the online store located at the top of our website. Together, we can continue to grow RBN and help our listeners prepare for the future. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and click on our online store or call us.
800-724-2719 extension 3. 800-724-2719 extension 3.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves, folks, then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Some are maxed out all their credit cards. Some are working 2 jobs and living in cars. Minimum wage won't pay for a roof, won't pay for a drink. If you gotta have proof, just try it yourself, Mr. CEO. See how far $5.15 an hour will go. Take a part-time job at one of your stores. I bet you can't make it here anymore.
And welcome back to our show here, and a friendly reminder that Republic Broadcasting Network needs your support to keep on doing what we're doing. We're running on baling wire and duct tape to keep things going here, and we really do need your help. We don't have large corporations pouring money all over us. We don't have eccentric billionaires dumping money all over us to keep the word going on out. Basically, the attitude is the truth can be had for free, but a lie pays big bucks in the United States of America. Unfortunately, getting the truth out does have costs associated with it: office rent, server fees every month, telephone lines, as you saw recently. So once again, if you can help out, Thanks in advance, and the postal address to send a check, money order, or if you prefer anonymity cash, is Republic Broadcasting Network, 2251 Double Creek Drive, number 302, Round Rock, Texas, 78664. The phone number where you can make a credit or debit card donation is 800-724-2719, extension 3. The network thanks you. Okay, getting on back to the international and / military news here. Apparently, the United States Army, sort of feeling a little left behind by smart missiles and space-based technology, has been working to update artillery. And supposedly, the Army is developing a cannon that is able to blast through air defenses, quote, as far as Moscow, end quote. Now, they're calling it the Strategic Long Range Cannon, and it is being said to be able to strike targets at up to 1,150 miles away, which is 50 times farther than existing guns. You remember those big Paris guns that the Nazis built? They only built 2 of them. They could only fire, I think it was like 24, 25 miles, the same range as the naval artillery on the Iowa-class ships. So apparently they're working on that, and I imagine they're developing some kind of a guided smart shell, because at 1,150 miles, accuracy is probably going to be a bit of an issue here. All right, Nancy Pelosi and other negotiators are racing the clock because tonight is the end of Pelosi's deadline to agree on a COVID-19 stimulus. If they don't reach an agreement, nothing will happen until after the election. Obviously, Donald Trump would like the stimulus to go on out now. Pelosi would like it not to, but the public more and more is seeing the Democrats as being the sticking point here. And one of the reasons, of course, is that Pelosi is bundling a lot of demands with the COVID-19 relief. That's why it's so much more than the Republican offer. Because she wants funding for all kinds of things like the cities and states that have been run by Democrats that are now on the edge of bankruptcy. She wants bailouts for them. She wants changes to the election law, last-second changes to the election law that are going to help Biden. And obviously, Trump and the GOP are standing firm on many of these things here. Okay, let's get into the economic news here because, the stock market had a decent day today. But there are other indicators we need to be paying to. Over at Zero Hedge, they have a new phrase called Shipageddon. And they're basically talking about how the current capacity of the shipping lines, container shipping lines, are 100% full. Okay? They're unable to get new containers built. There are apparently no new ships available. A lot of the old ones, when the economy went into decline, a lot of them were sent off to get scrapped. And now all of a sudden the supply chain is starting to head back up as we head into the winter months, and people are scrambling. So the whole container shipping cycle is at absolute full capacity. So October's ocean container market is unbelievable. They're sold out, and they're just struggling to keep the network going here. And there will be bottlenecks going into the winter. So frankly, if I were you, I would make sure I had a little extra stock, stuck away there. I mean, all you preppers do, I know. But if you're not a prepper, having a little extra, canned food stuck in the back of the pantry or some other things, just in case you go down to your supermarket and there's an empty shelf, which we're starting to see, I have to add. All righty. Talking about Biden's tax plan, the commercials are making a big deal that Joe Biden is not going to increase taxes for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. That's, a lot of people like, soak the rich and so forth and so on. But it's going to lead to a combined rate of 62% for those making more than $400,000 a year in some states. This is the highest increase in 3 decades. And a lot of people are already saying they're going to leave the country rather than go with that. The other issue that you need to pay attention to is that Biden's tax plan revokes Trump's tax breaks for middle income earners. And that means your taxes are going to go up $6,500 a year on average. We're going to take a break for commercial. We'll be back after these few minutes.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly,
The new Ease Off Model Easy 4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my Ease Off?
Go to easeoff.com, EAZEOFF.com, and hurry because we are offering $200 off on the new Easy 4 for a limited time. Easeoff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri, 417-932-6419.
Hello, I'm Dr. Leonard Horowitz. I was right 30 years ago in warning the world about threatening lab virus outbreaks, AIDS, and Ebola. I was right 20 years ago when FBI Director Robert Mueller made me a suspect in the anthrax mailings because I warned the Bureau before the CIA's biocrime and Cipro sales psyops happened. I was right about COVID-19 being an AIDS-laced mutagen planned to resurge this fall to excuse officials' profitable depopulation globalization agendas. And I was right about the only safeguards being antioxidants and holy spiritual sustenance. Vitamin C, D, zinc, chlorophyll, oxygen, and oxysilver especially transmits the frequency resonance to neutralize the expanded function bioweapon. Oxysilver is a double superconductor of the healing power of love. It is the first nutraceutical invented to amplify prayer power and the faithful, loving intention of your heart. Buy, try, and stockpile Oxysilver through healthyworldstore.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Here are some reviews from Amazon.com. John Hess, 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome. Probably my only review, but at age 40, I was getting bad heart throb and left arm pain, mainly before bed. I even stopped smoking and drinking sodas for a month, and that didn't work. After one day of taking Extendovite, it was gone and hasn't returned in 3 years. I've ordered Extendovite 13 times, so Amazon just said. Juliet Hordick. I've ordered this product before in liquid form. It is fantastic. My whole family's been on it. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
What this country is coming to, I sure would like to know. If they don't do something by and by, the rich will live and the poor will doggone. I mean, the panic is on. Can't get no way, can't draw no pay. Unemployment getting worse.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking about the economy. And we're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines here. And remember, the new number is area code 512-248-8252. All righty. Now, Goldman Sachs is reportedly about to settle one of the biggest criminal cases involving a Wall Street bank since the financial crisis. Now, according to Bloomberg News, Goldman Sachs has reached an agreement with the Department of Justice to pay more than $2 billion in penalties, but it allows the bank to avoid all criminal penalties. So they get to skate and say, we've never been convicted of a crime, blah, 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 blah. Little analysis here. Investmentwatchblog.com. The stock market frenzy leading to a climax in 1929 ended, and the ensuing crash occurred precisely when investors realized that a recession was about to hit an overheated stock market. Well, we definitely have an overheated stock market, and we're definitely in a recession, if not a depression. Some indicators are saying this is a full-blown depression we're going into. All right, we're going to take a phone call now from Layla in Canada. Hello, Layla. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Actually, it's Biden. I found a video yesterday on YouTube where Biden was praising Pierre Trudeau to his son Justin and saying that a man's measure is whether his son is better than he is. And thinking
That's a
of
good
Hunter
video
Biden.
here. Yeah, well, I just got an email from a reader who said that the Biden campaign is not denying that the laptop belongs to Hunter, but they are now denying that Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son.
Are you serious? Or is that a joke?
It's a joke,
it's
obviously.
a joke. Okay.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about Biden goes on to praise Pierre Trudeau and say that he was a decent and honorable man and that he conducted himself as prime minister with great integrity.
Okay.
Well, during the War Measures Act, when the FLQ, the Front for the Liberation of Quebec, kidnapped 2 diplomats and killed one. And Pierre Trudeau used to be a Quebec separatist when he was younger until he became prime minister. So when this occurred, he called out the army. There were tanks in the street, guns, and reporters were questioning him. And Trudeau always spoke through clenched teeth with a nasal tone because his nose was up in the air. And he was saying, so you think we shouldn't be protecting everybody? And he goes on and say, well, I'm not going to worry about the weak-kneed, bleeding heart liberals. And all I have to say to them is, go on and bleed. This is a leftist. This is how the leftists view human life. If you have a bleeding heart, go on and bleed. Then the other irony is later on in the House, in Parliament, when he didn't like being questioned, he mouthed the words F off. Mm-hmm. There was a black member of Parliament who said, very clearly that he saw Trudeau mouthing the word F off.
Gotcha.
And Trudeau, of course, denied it. And he said, I didn't say anything because it wouldn't be on the Hansard record. He said, if you want to read what you want to read into it, you can. So then one of the reporters asked him, well, then what did you mouth? And he said, well, what is one thinking when they say fuddle-duddle?
Okay.
And the other thing that Trudeau did as a liberal who cared about the people, when there were protests of unemployed people in the Western provinces, he gave them the finger. Now, Al called in the other day and denied what someone reported, that Justin Trudeau is actually the son of Fidel Castro. Yeah. Actually, he is. Okay. When Fidel Castro's son committed suicide, he left a suicide note that he had borne the ignominy of his whole life, the humiliation of his father saying, you're not as good as your half-brother. And that was in a suicide note. Men don't write things like that unless just before they're about to blow their brains out. Now, if you look at Justin Trudeau and you look at Pierre Trudeau, they don't look anything alike. Pierre Trudeau was bald and he had a parrot mouth, and he looked like a fish. Meanwhile, he was also known, I know this from a person who knew him. He was actually one of the executive vice presidents of the CTV network who told me this, that he saw Trudeau with homosexuals in London, England. So he was known to be a homosexual among certain circles, which is one of the reasons probably why he brought in the law liberating the poor homosexuals at the time.
Yes.
Furthermore, he had two sons that were born 2 years apart on Christmas Day. This is when white Christians made up the mass of the voting public. So he used Margaret Trudeau in that sense. And then, of course, he handed her over to Castro. Now, they visited Castro jointly many, many, many times. And when Margaret Trudeau talked about Castro, her eyes were always gleaming with adoration, and she has nothing but praise for him. So anyone who denies that Pierre Trudeau was a deceitful, corrupt man is, well, only Biden would call that, call Trudeau's behavior decent, honorable, and filled with integrity.
Yes.
It's on YouTube. Look it up. And the most important thing is, to my mind, is when you see Trudeau or hear Trudeau with his contemptuous, sneering expression, looking down at the reporters who are questioning him and saying, well, there are a lot of weak-kneed, bleeding hearts out there and don't like seeing, the army with guns and tanks in the streets, then all I can say to them, to those bleeding hearts, go ahead and bleed. That is on YouTube.
Okay.
That little bit. So that's the kind of person that Biden admired and called a man of integrity. And if that's what the liberals really are like, and we know that that's what they're like, because the communist China, look at Tiananmen Square. We know what the Soviets did when they had power, socialism. That is what it amounts to, a total disregard for human life. So how anyone can justify socialists or leftists as being more humanitarian is utterly beyond my comprehension. Trump has his failings. There are a lot of things about the man I don't like, but the comparison of the two is they're not even in the same league. I mean, they're not even in the same species as far as I'm concerned. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but look it up. It's available. I mean, I'd play it for you if you had time, so you could hear if you could hear it. It's only 5 minutes long if you want to hear it.
Well, I don't think we have time for that, and I'm also concerned about copyright violation.
Okay. Well, then people should look it up on YouTube. And the thing is, you will see the look on his face and the contemptuous look. And as I said, I had a personal friend. He's now dead, so I don't mind revealing what he told me. He saw Trudeau with known homosexuals in London, England. And shortly after that, he brought in the law that said that the government had no business in the bedrooms of the public. Well, the problem is that fecal bacteria does not remain in the bedroom. Those who engage in that kind of activity, in sodomy, do take fecal bacteria out into the public. So the public ultimately, and that we've seen increases in things like E. coli and other MRSA pathogens that are intended to stay where they are,
where
and
they're
not
supposed
be
to be.
circulated amongst the public.
Let's not get too colorful here.
No, I'm not going to get, but I mean, the point is it does get into the public. So
Yes.
It isn't a matter of the government, it's staying in the bedroom. They don't go around like surgeons keeping the gloved hands up in the air. So there are certain activities that the government does have a right to, and always did. They did in the past. Protect the public health departments existed for that kind of prevention. So anyway, I will leave it as we near the time when we make a choice between bad and badder. People should keep in mind what it means when you vote for Biden. Anyway, best to you all. Whatever happens in the U.S. certainly affects us in Canada. So
yes, it does.
Please vote wisely for everyone else as well as yourselves.
Well,
bye for now.
All right. Bye for now. Thank you very much for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Paul in New Jersey. Hello, Paul. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hello, Michael.
Yes, you're
Michael,
on the air.
Yeah.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah. By the way, the Paris gun goes back to World War I, and it could shoot a shell 80 miles.
All right. I stand corrected.
Just to let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Listen, concerning yesterday's call I made yesterday, I want to continue along those lines. And to one thing addressed about Kelly from Austin, who criticized me for, saying that that the Republicans should pick the Democratic candidate. I don't believe that. But I do believe that the President of the United States and his Justice Department should go after criminals.
Yes, I agree.
And there is a saying that justice delayed is justice denied. Now, Donald Trump had 3.5 years to indict Hillary Clinton for very high crimes. I mean, really selling the State Department for financial gain, and what she did with her server in her private residence.
Yes.
Such a high crime and an indictable offense, and yet Donald Trump could not get any of his attorney generals to prosecute Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, which tells you a lot about how untouchable the Clintons are.
Well, it shows how indifferent Donald Trump is to delivering justice to the citizen.
Well,
And
I don't. I think you're ignoring the idea of bureaucratic resistance because, it was only a week ago that Donald Trump ordered the declassification of all the Russiagate documents, but all of the involved agencies are simply ignoring him. So Donald Trump was probably out there saying indict Hillary Clinton, but the attorney generals who are more afraid of the Clintons than they are of Donald Trump just ignored him.
But let's remember, Donald made himself famous on that TV show for the famous line, "You're fired."
I agree.
He ran under the claim, too, of he was going to drain the swamp. There is nothing stopping him from changing attorney generals or FBI directors on a monthly basis until he gets one who can actually perform their jobs and indict criminals, especially high political criminals. Now, the very fact that he also could have indicted Joe Biden 3 years ago because of Burisma. They knew about that several years ago,
yes,
but he delayed. And this is what I'm talking about Donald Trump. Justice delayed is justice denied. Donald Trump has no interest in delivering justice to the American people. Oh, when he does, though, let's remember.
Do you think Biden is going to?
Hold up, let's not. Well, we know he's a criminal, and
yes.
Donald Trump allowed a criminal, because of his indifference to pursuing justice, to become his competitor in this election. That's Donald Trump for you, right? He's the one who's supposed to stand up for law and order and make sure his underlings deliver justice to the people. And I think he's more concerned about himself and how his political outcome is and maybe securing this election because, if you run against a known criminal and people are aware of it in October, right, that makes Donald Trump more electable. So I think this is a cynical political scheme by Trump and Giuliani to, as an October surprise, as I said yesterday, to get himself elected and to win against Biden. But if he had come out a year or two ago and knew Biden was a big political candidate, he could have pressured the Department of Justice to go after the Biden. People knew about it several years ago. It happened in 2015.
Yeah, we were talking about it a year ago. The whole idea of the laptop coming out now, although the FBI supposedly sat on it for almost a year, is that this is more evidence that proves that the speculations and suspicions were true.
Well, they knew enough about just through the Ukraine and petitioning the Ukraine. They could have started this as soon as Donald Trump set foot in office and pursued justice. But, that looks too political. You know what I mean? And I guess that's part of his personal cowardice and why he's afraid to deliver justice. I guess that's his excuse. But then again, he can brag about, putting some white nationalists in jail in Michigan for some cockamamie scheme as though they were going to actually kidnap the governor of Michigan. That the Department of Justice can pursue.
Yes.
And so this is what I was just trying to bring up about this, is that Donald Trump has the ability to pressure his attorney generals and the ability to fire and appoint new attorney generals like cutthroat attorney generals instead of stonewallers like Sessions and Barr.
Mhm.
But he likes it this way. And that's what you people have to realize. He likes it this way. And that's why, by the way, one last note before I go, Michael, and you've been very kind, is I am not a Biden voter. I already voted. I voted for a third-party Constitution Party, just to make sure you're aware of that. And on
Okay.
that note, great. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for the phone call. We're going to switch over to David in Boston. Hello, David. Welcome to the show, and I hope there isn't a train in the background.
No, Michael, I'm home here. Aloha. Hey, Michael, just a quick question. Did you ever find my old web blog and the essay that Two Can Play Trash by any chance?
Oh boy, it rings a bell, but I'm not sure. I mean, I don't remember it clearly. So if I saw it, it was a long time ago.
No. I just gave it to you last week. The day from Massachusetts.wordpress.com.
Okay. I'll have to look for it again.
Okay, yeah, because I just gave it to you last week, But
Okay.
I think you'd enjoy those essays that I wrote back around like 2008 and 2009.
Okay.
Michael, being the word person that I am,
yes,
and of course being the word person that most of the RBN family is.
Okay, David, I got to put you on hold. David, I got to put you on hold.
Okay.
Stay right there, word person, and we're going to take a break for commercials. We'll be right back.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure, resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue, and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed, and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, the number 2, keep it today.
Is your property a financial burden and causing you grief? Have you tried to sell but can't find buyers? Or are you just too busy to sell your property? Don't worry, we have the right solution for you. We buy properties as is, with cash, close in 30 days, and pay all closing costs. Our service is ideal for property owners who are in pre-foreclosure, have high-end repair costs, experiencing financial hardship, going through costly divorces, are relocating, need cash for retirement, suffering family loss, or have tax liens. Whatever your situation may be, we can help you sell your property and get the money you need. If you own a single-family home or multiple family units, call us for a free consultation at 888-910-1037. That's 888-910-1037. Or visit our website at cashingproperty.com. That's cashingproperty.com. Sell your property fast and leave all your worries behind.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show Red Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners, so that you can get involved in the activism. Please call in at 800-313-9443 at 10 p.m. to enter the discussion. To book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
If you got the money, honey, we got the bombs. We'll plant them anywhere you like and blow up anyone. Whip this world into a frenzy, killing babies, dads, and moms. If you got the money, honey, we got the bombs. If you got the money, well, we won't say we did. The towers.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with David in Boston. And David, you were telling us that being the wordsmith you are, and please complete that sentence.
Oh, yeah. And then I was going to say, and also, you know, the RBN family. Actually, Michael, I had a funny thought a while back. You know how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words?
Yes.
But a mouth is worth 1,000,000 words. Okay? So
Okay.
I'm worth more than a picture. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but a mouth like mine is worth 1,000,000 words.
Okay.
And, anyways,
A mouth like mine is worth $1.95.
Okay. So, Michael, listen.
Yeah.
Being the wordsmith that I am, and just being the word person that I am, I'm thinking about this laptop. And
Yeah.
you know, and this sexual pervert, Hunter Biden, and everything, and how he likes the little underage girls to see them dancing and everything, and then I got to thinking. I was a cab driver up in Alaska for years, and it's so cold up there in the winter that the cab driver has to go in to the businesses to get the customer. Like there's a big strip joint up there called the Great Alaskan Bush Company, and I
Yes.
used to have to go in and find out who it was that called the cab, because it might be 50 below zero, so they don't wait outside for the cab. The cab driver has to go in and find the customer, you know? So there's
Yes.
all these girls dancing, but they used to have lap dances. They used to refer to these girls stripping in front of you and everything as a lap dance. So then I said, wait a minute here. Let me connect the stars to David here. So you got a laptop, and then you get these lap dances, and then you have Sloppy Joe talking about the little kids jump up on my lap, and I love the little kids jumping up and down on my lap. You know, so I did a little search and everything. I saw Biden with some colored kids, I think by a swimming pool or something, and he's talking about the little colored kids jumping up and down on his lap and stroking his leg, and I don't know which leg it was. You can read between the lines on that one, because they
Yes.
stroke my leg and, you know, watch the hair rise again and all this. But then he goes on to so he's talking about the little colored kids jumping on his lap. He says, so don't tell me I know about cockroaches. Okay, can you imagine that creep? What the heck is he? Is he referring to those little colored kids as cockroaches and everything? But the thing is, you know, you got the laptop, you got the lap dances, you got Biden talking about the little kids. They're not his grandchildren either. You know,
Yeah, I
they're his
know.
grandchildren on his- Yeah, so you know, it's funny. You know, with these lap dances and these the perversion, this pedophilia stuff with little underage kids jumping up on his lap and everything, it'd be kind of poetic justice if a laptop computer brings down these people that are into lap dances and having little kids jumping up and down on their laps and everything, you know? But
Yes.
But anyways, so hey, listen. And I hope Layla will forgive me for this now, but because she doesn't like these little stories I tell, I don't think, but the LGBTQP community up here in Boston, Michael, they had a big seance, and Boston is a big LGBTQ P. I always have the P too, and you guys know what the P stands for.
Okay, we're almost out of time.
Oh, okay. Well, anyways, they had a seance, and they conjured up the former head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover.
Okay, David, I'm going to put you on hold. You can complete your joke after our station identification, okay?
Okay.
honey, I'm home. I grabbed the newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
The newspaper? Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, a majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper does not give out the important attention on what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
This is RBN, the Republic Broadcasting Network.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, where you'll find out what the Fukushima's going on.
And welcome to our show, hour number 2. The phone lines are open, 512-248-8252. We're talking with David in Boston. And David, tell us your joke.
Okay. Yeah, it's a joke. You know, to make it clear to Layla that I'm not trying to say this is a true story or anything. But yeah, so the LGBTQP seance, they conjured up the former head of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. And J. Edgar Hoover's ghost appeared, Michael. And so all these seance, so all the people in the seance started saying, speak, speak, speak to the ghost of J. Edgar Hoover. And lo and behold, J. Edgar Hoover spoke. And you won't believe it, Michael, but you know what J. Edgar Hoover said to the LGBTQP seance people? He said, politics make very strange bedfellows. Politics make very strange bedfellows.
I got it. Okay, well, thank you for the joke, and thank you for the phone call, David. And we're going to switch over to Al in Canada. Hello, Al. Thank you for waiting patiently. What's on your mind?
Not connected. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. I sent you Layla was talking about Trudeau.
Yes.
Your Elliot Trudeau. I sent you a link to with the rest of what he said. It was like 20 seconds, right?
Yeah, I just posted it.
What he was
really
actually
happened.
saying was he was for law and order.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Kind of sounds like, you know, what some people are saying nowadays. You know, the funny thing, times changed, right, Mike?
Yes.
Everything's always moving. Everything's fluid. Nothing is really static except for maybe the
corruption.
You know, the entrenched power.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both going to the same place. But like I see, and I know this because I can see this, is that everything's leaning towards the left now.
Yes, very much
Right?
so.
We're being pushed in that direction, and even you know that little video of what happened there with the FLQ. Well, it's not a video; it's actually what happened. Since then, like the liberals have gotten more left, and they're just like they're full on meltdown right now.
Yes.
Like anything goes, right? Laissez, what do they call that? Laissez-faire, Mike?
Laissez-faire.
Laissez-faire, yeah. You know, whatever. You know, que sera, sera. No. This is just like, you know, this is nonsense. Some of the stuff that's allowed to happen, and they incrementally normalize it.
Yes.
And what really bothers me is the very things that these people do, they're always the ones to point their fingers at other people and claim that those people are doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and people forget that sort of thing, or they just don't realize that projection.
Yeah, we're talking about how left the country has gone, but throughout history, it's been kind of like this giant pendulum that swings back and forth between liberal and conservative and liberal and conservative. And I think the liberals have pushed the pendulum as far as they can, the direction they can. And I think we're on the cusp of seeing a major swing back to center, or perhaps even worse, far right fanaticism. I'd kind of like to see things calm down a little bit, but that's how it's been throughout history.
Yeah, it has. And if you really look at it, I mean, you're a little bit right? Because some people that call in are way right.
Yes.
And I think like right down the middle, there's it's pretty safe. You mean you skate back and forth on certain things, but here and there. But I mean, in the end, you're not going to lose your mind and like have a meltdown because you were stuck in a Donald Trump procession. I saw this video on your website about that. This
Yes.
girl was crazy.
Yes.
The poor girl melted down. Anyway, I appreciate your time, Mike, and you have a good one.
All right. Thanks an awful lot for the phone call. We're going to go to Don in Arizona. Hello, Don. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind today?
Oh, Mike. Yeah, that guy. Who was the guy that was talking about Trump? That Trump is evil or bad or no good because he.
Well, we're saying Paul in New Jersey was saying that he's weak and that he's a coward. I think the situation is a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah, this guy, in my opinion, is a troll for the Democratic National Committee. He's either an unpaid troll or he's a paid troll. And every
or
time
he's doing a really
in,
good impersonation of one.
Yeah, I mean, he's calling into RBN, which is a right-leaning network overall, right? It's
yes.
When you said
yes,
and he's trying to talk some people out of voting for Trump, but just by talking trash about Trump continuously. And Trump does not have, he's trying to make it out like Trump has absolute power. He can put anybody he wants in as Attorney General. He can't. It has to go through the confirmation process in the Senate. And that's why he has to play ball with those guys, those rhinos. He has to play ball with those rhinos, Lindsey Graham and McConnell. They run the Senate there. And he doesn't have free reign. He can't appoint Mike Rivero to be Attorney General or whatever.
No, he can't. I'm still holding out for head of NASA.
Yeah, I mean, it has to go through the confirmation process, and he doesn't have much of a majority really at all because you got, so he has to do basically what McConnell wants, but he has to have the approval of McConnell and
yes, yeah,
and that's why you come up with the limited hangout like Barr.
Yes.
So he doesn't, this is the typical thing that you have other trolls like that too that call into your show and they say everything bad is because of Trump. And they're trying to talk people out of voting for Trump. You have a choice between Trump and Biden. That's your choice. If you vote for a third party or you abstain, you can do that. But it's either going to be Trump or Biden is going to win the election. Which one do you want? So
well, you see, that's where all of these that's where all these people who are trash talking Trump fall down, if you will. They're not giving us a reason to think Biden is going to be at least as good, if not better. And as a matter of fact, when I was talking to Paul, I said, we already know that Biden is a crook. Do you really think he's going to do a better job of prosecuting the criminals than Trump has? And Paul just sort of kind of glossed that over. But anybody who calls on in to trash Trump, fine. First Amendment, you have a right to do that. But don't just try and stop people from voting for Trump just because you don't like Trump and you want to trash talk him. Give us a reason to vote for Biden, because so far we've got this career politician who, by the way, is now admitting that the crime bill he wrote was a big mistake. He's surrounded by corruption. And apparently that goes back almost 50 years. So, I'm disappointed in Trump. I'm hoping a second term Trump will take the gloves off and get some work done. But the idea of Biden in the Oval Office is quite chilling, especially because he might not be long, and then we're going to wind up with Kamala Harris as president.
Yeah, you have a choice. It's a two-party system. Which one do you want? Now, and even the other guy from North Carolina that calls in, he trash talks Trump, and he says
Yes.
he's voting for him. Well, if you want Trump to win, it's a logical contradiction for you to call into a show and trash. I mean, your one measly vote might go to Trump, and then by talking trash about him for 15 minutes, you might talk two people out of the vote against Trump. You know, he might persuade two people to vote against Trump. So I mean, trash Trump, talk Trump, trash talk. So many people have this. Their basic point is Orange Man bad, and they say the same thing every damn time. And that's all I got, Mike. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Joe in Tennessee. Hello, Joe. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Boy, that last caller is just, he's right, dead on. I totally agree with him. I mean, that guy from North Carolina, every week, 2 or 3 calls, he spends 20 minutes boring me to death and then running down Trump. Then at the very end, oh, well, I'm still going to vote for him, but let me get back to running him down. I think he's just mad because he bombed his boyfriend Soleimani over there or something. I really don't know, but it's definitely not logical. And I think his tactic is, like the previous caller said, is to actually it's a very disingenuous tactic. It's to just spend 20 minutes running Trump down and then at the end say, I do support him, which is kind of cowardice if you ask me. I'd rather have him just say,
they're basically trying to counter the impression that they've given that they're a Biden supporter.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. If you were a Trump supporter, you wouldn't call in, 3 or 4 times a week with a 20-minute soliloquy of of every wrong thing he did, and it's always the same. It bores me to death. Besides it being dishonorable, and the call about Paul in New Jersey. He's not a Democratic shill or anything. He's just a little bit, loopy, I think. But let's go through a few things with Trump. He fired Comey. He got a special prosecutor. Okay, there he was. You're fired. What does he get? A special prosecutor. Then all the people around him, Sessions and them, he wants to fire Rosenstein. Oh, you better not do that. Oh my God, the politics. They'll be ready to impeach you. So then, a couple of years later, after the whole Mueller thing falls apart, so the Democrats don't have that over his head anymore, they bring up the old Ukrainian phone call. And you know what the Ukrainian phone call was about, Paul? It was about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and corruption in Ukraine. And what happened to Trump from that? He got impeached. Well, what do you know? So, it's no wonder that Trump's a little bit skittish to call Barr in and fire him or call Wray in and demand an investigation into this computer, because the minute he does, they're going to run to the Democrats and they're going to say he's abusing his authority. He can't do that. He's telling the FBI to investigate his opponent in the coming election, the Russian. I mean, it's amazing. Hello, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I don't know, my phone just acted funny. But yeah, they'd be blaming it on the Russians. I mean, how much have we seen that of the distasteful treatment and really it's the unfair treatment of Trump, that you have to give him some, slack in these things. I mean, I guarantee you, Trump would love to fire Barr. He'd love to fire Wray, but he can't do that right now 2 weeks before the election. Remember Nixon with, what was it, the Saturday Night Massacre or whatever?
Yes.
So what does Trump have to do? He's got to give it to his personal lawyer, Giuliani, because that's his only option to get this information out before the election, because Barr isn't going to get it out. The media is not going to get it out. Ray's not going to get it out. The Democrats aren't going to get it out. So what does he do? He gets his personal lawyer, which is within his rights, who's investigating these criminal acts, and he has the information come out through them. I mean, I just get so sickening. They're just so demented in their hatred for Trump that they just don't understand what's really going on. I really don't understand it. It's kind of like that one caller from New Jersey. He's for the first 2 years of Trump's administration, all I heard him calling up about was the wall, and had Trump not building the wall and immigration. Well, Trump fought tooth and nail. He fought the rhinos. He fought the Democrats. He fought the Mexican government. Well, the wall's being built. They're up to 400 miles.
Yes.
So nobody wants to talk about it anymore. And immigration's down 90%. And all the things that they were all so hostile to Trump about, Trump's doing what they wanted, and now they're all silent on that, and they've moved on to why he hasn't fired Ray or why he hasn't fired Barr. And I want to see Ray and Barr fired, but it's not going to happen till after the election. It's too late, and I'm not happy about it neither, but I understand the circumstances that Trump's in. And if you don't, then you're blind, or you just hate him so much you won't even give that any weight. So it's kind of sad. It is sad because this man has delivered more for populism and nationalism than any president we ever could have had. I mean, you see him on TV defending the American way of life, standing up for civil rights for white people. He's a bulwark against the crazed cultural leftists and people that should know better because of some stupid reason, like him bombing a general, an Iranian general that was in Iraq up to no good, or some other reason I can't figure. Just throw everything out, the baby with the bathwater. And I'll leave it at that, Mike, and I appreciate you for hearing my rant. But it's just I'm very angry about some of the way these people.
Well, we can tell there.
I don't like disloyalty.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the rant, and we're going to switch over to Chance in West Virginia. Hello, Chance. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes. Hello, Michael. I'd like to say to Paul, welcome to the Constitution Party. Apparently, when Trump uses the term "you're fired," it's only reserved for TV reality show entertainment purposes. That's what it seems like to me. And David's call, I think a better punchline for that J. Edgar Hoover ghost would be, when wearing a red dress, make sure you always have a matching red handbag.
Okay.
Well, the cross-dressing thing.
Yeah, I know the cross.
Yeah, Paul made a good point. I mean, 4 years, come on here. What the hell are we waiting for? There's no excuses for this nonsense. Paul, welcome to the Constitution Party. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you for the phone call. We're going to switch over to Mike in Indiana. Hello, Mike. What's on your mind today?
How you doing, Mike? You transplant in Indiana, or are you a retransplant?
Well, I have retransplanted so many places around the globe during my life. It's just at the moment, this is my current landing spot.
I see. Well, welcome back to Indiana. I'm up here by Notre Dame.
Okay.
Well, here's a question I got about that Hunter Biden notebook. Okay, this guy gave this thing to the FBI like 6 months ago. Didn't the FBI tell Trump where he could get a special prosecutor looking into this thing? Or did this go through a bunch of intelligence agencies and they report all of the guy of Homeland Security and he says, oh, this ain't a Homeland Security threat? Why tell him?
Well, to me, it looks like
it
looks like the FBI just put it on a shelf and let it collect dust in the hope that if Biden won the election, then the FBI would have leverage on President Biden through his son Hunter.
So their FBI is playing both sides of the field, it seems like.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover's special files were legendary for having blackmail information on all of the nation's corporate and government leaders. They even blackmailed John F. Kennedy at one point.
Right. Okay, well, I've been a long-time listener, and it's nice to...
Okay, Mikey.
And I'll let you go.
There
you
you
have
are.
a good day.
All right, thanks an awful lot. Yeah, you got cut off there. And we're going to go to Mark in North Carolina. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Mike, I wasn't even going to bother calling today, but I just heard Joe, and I got to respond, okay? Hey, listen, Joe. I'm loyal to the United States of America, okay? That's my loyalty. It's not to the Republican Party, to the Democratic Party, and it's not to any one man, okay? I'm not a shill, in other words. I'm going to vote for Trump because he's the only choice right now, okay? I didn't want him. I wanted Tulsi Gabbard. As far as Soleimani, it's a disgrace to shoot that man. To kill that man. He actually killed terrorists. Iran is not an enemy of ours unless we make it an enemy. And you're playing right in the hands of the Zionists that you sometimes talk crap about, okay? Who wanted that man dead? Netanyahu, of course. So, as far as Trump's appointments, I can understand why he doesn't want to buy a bar right now and some of these others. But why did he hire him in the first place? How dumb can the man be? The man has deep state all over him. He was big in the Bush administration. He covered up some of the crimes that Bush and his cronies committed back in, I'm talking about H.W.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to have to put you on hold. Mark, I'm going to have to put you on hold. Don't hang up. I'm going to come right back to you after these words from our sponsors.
What would you say if I told you we have a new tool that will increase production and lower maintenance costs for your meat processing company? And it would pay for itself in just 6 weeks.
When pigs fly!
The new Ease Off Model Easy 4 replaces old spring-style carcass droppers and is faster, safer, and more reliable. The Ease Off lowers or lifts 1,000 pounds to or from your rail automatically using our remote control.
Sounds expensive. Can I afford it?
Can you afford not to try the Ease Off? It installs fast with just 3 bolts in place of your current dropper. The effortless operation will reduce fatigue and injuries, speed up your line, eliminate downtime, and increase profit.
How can I order my Ease Off?
Go to EOFF.com and hurry because we are offering $200 off on the new Easy 4 for a limited time. EaseOff.com. We make pigs fly. Cows too. Ease Off LLC, Summersville, Missouri. 417-932-6419.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now, but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge 20, 30, 40, 50, if possible, 100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Here is your host, Michael Rivero.
Welcome back to our show here. We're talking with Mark in North Carolina, and if you would just continue along the same path you were on.
Yeah, this again to Joe, okay? Hey, Joe, would have you hired Bolton, okay? Would have you hired Pompeo? Would have you replaced Comey with another S-bag like Ray? Okay, I wouldn't. I'm a high school grad. Okay, I'm self-educated. I educate myself. Okay, I would have known better than to do that. Okay. Even now, I mean, he doesn't, like I said. And what about you, Miss Haskell there? This Bloody Gina. Plenty of people told him not to put that witch in there, and he put her in anyway. Okay, Joe? Is that very smart? Is that such a brilliant president? I don't think so. I think he's a dummy at the worst. I mean, at the best. And maybe he's explicit.
He's easily manipulated by those around him. I think that's his biggest problem, is he's easily manipulated by those around him.
Absolutely, but that's not a good president. A
No.
good president takes charge. He doesn't let other people take charge of him. He should have cleaned house, Joe, the minute he got in. He didn't.
On that, I agree.
Okay? Yeah, but I'm not. I know you agree, Mike. I know because I've been hearing you enough. But this is basically addressed to Joe with his big mouth there, telling me my boyfriend Soleimani. What do you think? I'm stupid, Joe? Soleimani was a hero. Okay, he was against the very terrorists that unfortunately Obama and company supported. All right, and Biden, by the way, and Hillary. All right, he killed those terrorists. Joe, are you against that? Or maybe are you a friend? Do you think Netanyahu should run our country? Netanyahu and what's his name? Adelsberg, the guy from Vegas,
Adelson.
Adelson. You think they should run this country, Joe? I don't. I'm a patriot, Joe. I am loyal. I'm loyal to the United States of America. I'm not loyal to any one man or any one party. Hey, Joe, you just get that. I hope you call again. I hope you try to answer me. I'd love to debate you, in a two-way conversation, but I don't think you want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that either. We've had too much of that.
I know. Like, too bad, though, because it's kind of fun. But anyway, Joe, all right? That's what I think. All right, Joe? No, at the best, he's incompetent. At the worst, he's part of the problem. Okay? Either way, I got no choice because I don't want Biden and Harris in there, so I got to support him this time.
Yes.
But I'm disgusted, Joe, okay? He's not the great president you try to make him out to be. We haven't had a great president, I don't think, since JFK and before that Eisenhower. Even Reagan was a bum when he signed that Vaccine Act and, exempting the vaccine, not to mention Iran-Contra and bringing drugs into the United States.
Well, Reagan wasn't Iran-Contra. That was his vice president, George Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah, but still, I mean, he was in charge. He should have had control over his vice president, okay?
Well, he should have, but don't forget he was dealing with Alzheimer's.
I don't know. You really think he was at that time?
I saw a picture of him later in life, and yes, the symptoms were obvious.
Okay. All right. I'll grant you that. All right.
Okay.
But he wasn't the great president they make him out to be either. Okay. We haven't had a great president since JFK and before that Eisenhower. All right. So, this is the way it goes. This is why this country's in so much trouble. The CIA basically runs this country.
Yes,
CIA
unfortunately, they certainly run a good part of it.
Exactly. Neocons and neoliberals. That's the problem. And Trump did a miserable job of trying to fight it if he really wanted to fight them in the first place. I mean, come on. Put Bloody Gina in as CIA director. I mean, he put Bolton in there. Okay?
Yep.
Please. The guy is, unfortunately, we really don't have a choice now. At least I don't.
No.
Because I got to vote for, I have some hope for this country. If Biden gets in there, I just about no hope for this country.
If the Democrats take the White House and if they succeed in flipping the Senate, we're going to just see this incredible leftist agenda uncorked. We're going to be heading for pure socialism. We're going to be the new Soviet Union. And of course, that didn't really work out well for the old Soviet Union. And I wish people would keep that in mind.
Mike, I think we're going to just split up as a country. I think the country is going to split into pieces if this happens. Okay, because
I think you may be right. A lot of people are talking secession.
I think you would see a civil war. Okay, another civil war, and this probably be bloodier than the first civil war, and it may lead to a all-out World War III because a desperate country with desperate neocons and neoliberals in charge are capable of starting the nukes. So
Yeah,
might mean
they absolutely are. All right. Well, listen, Mark, we're going to have to take another commercial break. So I'm going to let you go. We got a bunch of other callers waiting on the line as we head into the last half hour of our program, and we'll be right back.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Here are some reviews from Amazon.com. John Hess, 5 out of 5 stars. Awesome. Probably my only review, but at age 40, I was getting bad heartthrob and left arm pain, mainly before bed. I even stopped smoking and drinking sodas for a month, and that didn't work. After one day of taking Extendovite, it was gone and hasn't returned in 3 years. I've ordered Extendovite 13 times, so Amazon just said. Juliet Hordick. I've ordered this product before in liquid form. It is fantastic. My whole family's been on it. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
What really happened with your host, Mike Rivero. Join Mike on the air. Call toll-free 800-313-9443. 800-313-9443.
And, of course, the new number is actually 512-248-8252. I've got to get that bumper replaced or yanked from the rotation, one or the other. Okay, I believe that we are talking with Tom in Florida now. And, Tom, welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yeah, Michael, good day to you. Aloha. Yeah, Michael, your last caller, he was really beating up on poor Joe there. I wish he beat up Joe Biden like that. I wish he got to Sleepy Creepy Joe. That would be some good energy wasted on sleepy, creepy, humbling Biden. But yeah, Michael, first there's a few issues I want to bring up to your attention now, your callers. On the Matt Sledge report, which you don't no longer control, the Zog Drudge is saying now that 75% of the Jews will vote for Biden. Well, you know what? They think that's a good thing, but I don't think so. I think if 25% of the Zog, the Jews in this country, go for Trump, I think that's a good thing for Trump. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, if
I
Trump
would
gets
absolutely
25%
agree.
vote. Yeah, so if you look at Matt Drudge right now, when you ever got time today, Michael, or tomorrow, you'll see that right now on his big post, 75% of all Jews are going to vote for Joe Biden over Trump. Well, that's great. So that means maybe Trump has 25% Jews, maybe he gets 25% black, he wins the election. But the Drudge report makes it sound like, it's the end of the world for Trump. Only 25% of the Jews are going to vote for Trump.
Well, the current Drudge report does clearly have a liberal bias to it. It's one of the reasons I don't go there anymore. And my understanding is that Matt Drudge really isn't all that involved with it anymore, that it's being handled by some other staff.
Well, that is correct, Michael. It looks like Drudge right now, the report is being run by a bunch of left homosexual Jews. That's what it looks like. I don't know, maybe some Christians, I don't know, but it looks like it's controlled by a bunch of thugs. And the way I'm looking at it, if I'm reading that right, I just got done reading it, the Sledge report about an hour ago, and 75% of the Jews will vote, like W. Blabbermouth Schultz and all these other Zionists, they will vote, get 75% of the Jews vote. But I believe, like I said, if Trump gets 25% of that vote, he's in the White House. If he gets 20% of the Afro-American vote, he's in the White House again. That's what I'm looking at here, Mike. I mean, these people on these the New York Times and these lines and these crimes that they're committing, it's horrific. Okay? So, yeah. And getting back to what Mark was saying about Kennedy, he's saying Kennedy was a great president. Well, he may have been all right, but his brother is a total scumbag, slimebag. Ed Kennedy was the biggest slimebag. He destroyed our country, probably him and the schmuck Blair, single-handedly, by allowing this immigration in 1965, Mark. Okay? So, yeah, you want to call it how good Kennedy was? Well, his brother was a piece of dirt crap. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Yeah, Ted had a lot of shortcomings to be the weakest of what was planned to be a Kennedy dynasty.
Correct. And Ted Kennedy's probably an HE double toothpicks, along with Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for all the babies been aborted because of her. That's the way I look at it. Okay? And all the illegal. Look, Mike, nobody's talking. None of your callers are calling except me and maybe a couple other guys, maybe Miles, another. We're talking about the angel of mothers and fathers. Just think all these American citizens in this country in the last 5 years who lost a loved one to an illegal alien, Mike. A person who's not even supposed to be in this country legally. Nobody talks about that. They wouldn't even bring it up in a debate. These scumbags that are running our media. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Mike, if you had a loved one that was hurt or murdered by an illegal alien, how would you feel? You'd go off the chain, I'm sure, like I would.
Yeah, I probably would.
Okay?
Probably would.
Absolutely. And, to have some of these guys bashing Trump, at least Trump has brought out the illegal invasion of our country, Mike. Reagan never did it. That scumbag Clinton never did it. The Bush scumbag, the skull and bone rats they are, never did it. Jeb Bush never speaks Spanish and English. Who's kidding who here? Who's kidding here? And, all you other guys bash. What do you want Trump to do? He's controlled by his eye. You remember what Nixon said? You remember what Tricky Dick said, Mike? When he was in the White House, when they made the movie? Where'd all these Jews come from? You remember that?
I remember that.
He's on tape saying that. He's on tape saying that. Where'd all these leftist communists come from? He actually didn't call them Jews, I don't think. I think he mentioned a word there. Where all these communists come from? Did he say that?
I don't recall.
I remember, I don't know if it was Zog or he said something like, where are all these leftists coming from or communists coming from? So, here's some of these guys calling your show about the mask, the insanity of that, what's happening with that, the insanity of how bad Trump doesn't do nothing. Come on. That guy, Mark, a good example, Mike. He didn't say one good thing that Trump has done that he likes.
Yeah.
I told me yesterday, give me 3 things that he likes, that you like about it, that he did do. Okay, it's always bashing this guy's this. Yeah. Listen, we know who's controlling the purse strings in this country. You brought up Adelson, whatever. What are the Waltons doing? What is this scumbag doing? all these filthy rich pigs that got all this money. And you know what, Mike? That's every one of them. Every one of them going to turn back in ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Dust not art, and dust not shall become. That's all you got to remember when it comes to these rich people. They will go back to dust. Look at Eddie Van Halen, multi-millionaire, not here no more.
Tom,
Yes.
closer to the mic.
Yes. Can you hear me, Mike?
A little better.
Hello?
Yes, when you really get going, I think you pull the phone away from your face, and it's harder to hear you.
Yeah, maybe that's so. I'm sorry about that.
Much
but
better.
Yeah, Mike, okay, yeah. It seems that bothers me, Mike. All these people got all these multiple millions of dollars, and even Ginsburg, she had plenty of money. I'm sure she left her kids fine. That's great. And even try any of them. You don't take the money with you. It's your deeds on this earth that you do, the worldly deeds you do good on this earth. Not when not the filth that you perpetrate on society and the evil. Like, let's not kid ourselves, Mike. Look what's going on right now with the coronavirus. China brought this here. I don't think Trump would actually make a virus to kill 200,000 people. By the way, that's another thing, Mike. Drudge had it now. There's 212,000 dead. I looked at another report. I think it was Newsmax, and they only had a 201. So these people don't even get that figure right, Mike. Just like they never got the immigration figures right. They don't get the immigration. We don't know how many illegals are here. Even Trump doesn't know. He's the president of the United States. He can't even tell you how many illegals are in their country. He doesn't know. I would say, like you said, I think it was 35 million. Did you say 30 million or something?
Something like that.
That's what I believe it is. I don't believe it's 11 million. I think it's a crock. I think it's more like maybe 25, 30 million or higher. So who's kidding who? And that's my issue. That's been my issue. I look at the health care that's going to happen if a bumbling Biden gets in there, the buffoonery of that imbecile.
They're going to be giving all kinds of free stuff to these people who shouldn't even be here.
Okay, now, Mike, I get another subject really perpetrating with me.
Real quick, because we're running out of time.
Okay. Yeah, Hunter Biden is married to a Jewish girl. Her name is Melissa Cohen. Her family's from South Africa. Okay, Melissa Cohen. He was tapping the wife of Bo Biden. He had an affair with her. He got the stripper from the bar pregnant and has a little boy with her. Has a little boy with the new one, this Cohen, the little schmucka, the Yenta. He has a baby, 2 boys now, back to back, with 2 one's a stripper, one's a schmuck. And this guy's a little angel. He is a big time cokehead. Got kicked out of the United States Navy. Okay.
Yes.
Now, if one of Trump's kids got kicked out of Navy, they would have never even let Trump run for president. They would have slammed them down to the Republican Party. But the Democrats allow it. Where's Tulsi Gabbard, Mike? Where's Tulsi Gabbard that Mark's always talking about? Where's Tulsi? How come she's not standing up about this buffoonery with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden? Why doesn't she say something? She should run now as an independent. If she's smart, she'd put her head in the ring. Like I told you months ago, she should have ran as an independent.
It's too late for her to start to do that. If she'd run as an independent, I would have definitely supported her.
Well, she would have definitely crushed Biden. Biden would have lost all his Democratic support.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens now, but I think it's too late now. I think Biden is going to be exposed now, and last week it's going to hit him like a ton of bricks. This guy Biden and his son they're going to go for criminal charges. Let's just pray.
Well, I don't know about criminal charges, but I think definitely derailing his chances for the election. And like I said yesterday, if there is anything at all to this report that there is child porn on Hunter Biden's laptop, it's going to hit basically a week from today, so that it's got time to sink in to the voters, but not time enough to fade.
You're right, Mike. You know one thing? This Hunter Biden's a stripper woman. If Trump was smart, he'd take a campaign ad and get the woman. She wants $1 million from Hunter, right, for the boy baby. He should have paid to give the woman $1 million and have her run ads about how he met her at a strip bar over there in Washington. She was on a pole, and that's how he met her. And she had his kid, and then he's also going out with the brother's wife. And then he got the little Yenta from South Africa pregnant. This is unbelievable what this guy's done.
Yeah.
What this guy Hunter Biden's getting away with is unheard of in American politics. Unheard of.
Well, the good news is if Joe Biden wins the election, Hunter Biden will be the new drug czar.
Oh, absolutely. I was just going to say, you read my mind. They're going to put that guy in some position as the drug czar. There you go, Mike. And we got Beto. Don't forget about Beto. Beto's going to be running he'll be running the head of they might find him ahead of the FBI or something, Beto O'Rourke. Another fruit
Okay.
cake. I mean, it's unbelievable. Anyway, Mike, thanks for taking my call. Have a great day. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks an awful lot for the phone call. We're going to go to Dave in Michigan. Hello, Dave. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hello. I think both those fellows were wrong about J. Edgar Hoover. I think what J. Edgar Hoover said to those LGBTQPs was, if you got questions, ask your favorite relatives. Uncle Sam, an anti-Semite. Uncle Ben, an Antifa. They'll tell you it's not real. It is
Now, that's
real,
clever.
and it's all by design.
Okay. That's clever.
That's what I think he said.
Okay. Anything else?
Well, there's a lot going on out there, and, I could probably talk for maybe as long as you, but I know we're getting near the end of the show, and I'll let others
we are.
chime in. Thanks.
All right. Well, thanks an awful lot. We're going to switch over to Mark in New York. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Hey, Mike. Good afternoon.
Yes.
I wanted to call in. I said it's like this. Thank God for small miracles. It's like the old days. Thinking about the Hawaiian sunsets with you just ripping it up through the news. You sound great, and Layla calling in.
Yes.
It's like 2 years ago.
Yes,
So
it is.
I think it's great.
Well, a big part of it is, I'm getting over this PMR, and I'm starting to get my old energy back.
Cool. Well, it certainly sounds like it. I had you on speaker right now, so I just trying to pull it off my phone. But anyway,
Okay.
I agree with all of my favorite callers that were calling in, the whole string of them with Trump. Regarding Trump, I just feel I agree also with like kind of the broken record calling in, because another guy called in a week or two ago about no solutions. But we do have solutions. You have solutions. I mean, the first solution is clear: vote for Trump. The second solution is right on your front page that you've been pushing about election improvement. Then
Yes.
also your movie that's on Amazon about election. I'm sorry, the banker war.
Yeah, the bankers' wars.
And the banks
Yep.
are manipulating, and how you've always talked about how. And I'd like to say that for another day about whether should we trust the government to print our money before we let them manage our health care? Shouldn't they be managing our money? I could see how the money that we take,
I'd like to
given
go
off of us could go to infrastructure, roads, bridges, airports, and maybe even building homes for new buyers and stuff. But also, when you watch all this stuff, even with Savannah Guthrie with the other night, nobody mentions this free education, and just pointing out just a couple of things. Just what do you mean by free? Because for me, I think there's a small section of society, a small segment, that's going to go to college to learn to read and write.
Yes.
They think that employers are going to know the difference.
Hopefully they've learned that before they go to college.
Yeah, well, hopefully they would. Maybe they would have some pre-preparation to get in there. But I looked, even Germany has free university, but they're only 30%, 30 to 40%. And hold on, I still think I'm on speaker here. Press my talk button. That should be better. But they're going to know, employers are going to know the difference between guys that come from Hunter College or Hunter Biden College. Big difference, And then, but I think today would be a day to bring out the creepometer. New and improved, where zero would be Gandhi. Because Gandhi, smart man, great man, but wearing that toga, he would kind of creep out some of these woke snowflakes that are around. If they didn't know who he was, he'd be a little. And then, of course, even heard in the news today about Pee Wee Herman. But I think the two of them today, between Hunter Biden and Lubin Tubin, Jeff Tubin, with this thing on Zoom, I don't know if it's appropriate. But I'll tell you one thing. When I call in the show, I'm wearing trousers, not like some of these Jersey trolls that are calling in and complaining about Trump all the time.
Well, I'm wearing blue jeans.
Thank God. Thank God. Just don't stand up in case you're in your PJs or something like that.
No, I don't do that on the camera. I don't,
Yeah, thank goodness. And anyway, you live with a woman, so I don't know how much they would talk about
I do.
that, But yeah, And but you know, he's always denouncing the Jersey guys. I've never heard him denounce Corzine or Menendez or even Booker's behavior with Kavanaugh. They've never called in, and they do when they have. They've mentioned books that are written by progressives. So I think they are unwittingly, maybe, or whatever. They're just kind of trolling or shilling. The
Okay.
next thing I want to talk about, D'Souza's movie, the Trump card. I just think that there's, in the book, he brings up, and I've seen this scene from the 1984, where he's on the 2 + 2 = 5 scene.
Yes.
And, you know, that's what I'm seeing today in the media, mainstream media, the social media. And
No,
drugs.
there was actually
I
this
see nothing.
mathematician was about a month ago. This mathematician came on out and said that mathematics is a set of arbitrary rules created by white supremacists, and we shouldn't go on thinking that 2 + 2 = 4. I mean, they really actually said that. And, you know, want to talk about a palm to forehead moment.
Well, if they build a bridge, let them go over it first. You know?
Absolutely.
That's what I say. But when I see this and see that nobody, so now they're just, by ignoring it, their narrative is ignoring it. They're saying, what thing? What in this hand? You see a laptop. In this hand, there's nothing. There's nothing to talk about. Nothing to hear. The show's over. Come on, go home. You know, that's nuts. And I can't see it because the day it came out, I'm still looking at Drudge to say nothing. Of course, it's Biden's ahead in red. And
Yeah,
now I know it's totally
I
gone.
saw that. Like I said, Drudge appears to have a liberal bias. Anyway, Mark, got to let you go. Got to take a break for commercials.
All
Getting
right.
back with one more phone call after these few words.
Ladies and gentlemen, J.R. Moore here. We have a special promotion going on at Republic Broadcasting. This is a fundraiser for Republic Broadcasting involving the Energy Cleaner. Mail me a postcard. My address is at my website at thelibertyman.com. We pick a postcard every other Thursday. When your postcard is drawn out, you get to buy an Energy Cleaner for $215 instead of $285, $70 discount. $200 goes to Republic Broadcasting. You also get a 10% discount on my mattress pads. So get those postcards in, put your name, your telephone number, your email address on there, and when your postcard is drawn, you get to get an Energy Cleaner for $215 instead of $285. Mattress pads, 10% off. Help us out at Republic Broadcasting and help yourself to get an Energy Cleaner at a deep discount. It's a win-win situation for everybody. We hope you can get these postcards in soon. Thank you very much.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Extendovite really works. Here are some reviews from Amazon.com. Nikki, great product. Have to try it for a few months to see results. After taking Extendovite for about 6 months, I have noticed improvement on the numbness of my hands and wrists from carpal tunnel. I will continue to buy the product. Ken Peaks, 5 out of 5 stars. Works as advertised. This formula is very powerful. Be careful to follow directions. I am feeling much better. My heart rate and blood pressure has stabilized and my lower edema has reduced. Lower leg pain due to blood clots has disappeared. Thank you. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
The Republic Broadcasting Network late night premiere show The Red Pill Hardcore is hosted by activists that want to hear from you, the listeners, so that you can get involved in the activism. Please call in at 800-313-9443. at 10 p.m. To enter the discussion, to book yourself as a guest, call our studio at 202-657-5715 or contact RBN staff. Remember, keep it real and take the red pill.
When all this twisted steel was swept away, did these remaining holes reveal what's really happened?
Welcome back to our show, last segment of our program today. And I just checked in with NASA Live TV. The asteroid sampling mission is running just a little behind schedule. They're going through what's called the checkpoint burn right now. The solar panels on the spacecraft have been folded up so that they don't accidentally hit the asteroid itself during the upcoming sample collect. But that's probably going to happen here very, very soon. And so far, it's all working out great. And congratulations to everybody who worked on that mission. Okay, we're going to take another phone call. James in Vancouver. Hello, James. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
Yes. How close is China to attacking Taiwan?
That is very much under discussion. Some people think it's imminent. Others are saying that China really doesn't need the grief right now. All we can do is wait and see.
So what will the United States response be if they decide to go ahead?
Something boneheaded and stupid, probably.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. The last caller was very interesting. He had a voice like Edward Byrne on 77 Sunset Strip. Do you remember that TV show?
Oh, boy, that's going back a long, long way.
He was the valet for the detectives that would drive these fancy T-Birds.
Yes.
But I had a friend. Oh, by the way, can I make a comment about Donald Trump?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay. He knows how to handle the scumbags because he deals with them all day. You see, if he fired all the scumbags, then they would assassinate him, like what happened to Kennedy. Kennedy didn't deal with Dulles; he fired him. You see what I'm saying?
Well, he fired him after the Bay of Pigs when it was obvious that Dulles had lied to the president about the Bay of Pigs. And of course, in my mind, that's a good reason to fire anybody. And I'm in agreement that, Trump should be firing some of these people, and maybe he will after the election. But the problem is he can only replace him with somebody the Senate approves of. And that's why we get this endless series of corrupted individuals in these positions of power.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. It's just that how you handle these guys, you see, because everybody's in the shadows. The real power is in the shadows, but anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I could call back another time and discuss it.
All right. Well, that would be fine. Thanks an awful lot here, and we're going to let you go. We're coming up on the end of our program, and yeah, a lot of people are very concerned right now. I mean, China has been moving newer weapons, more weapons to their shores along the Taiwan Straits. There have been a lot more of these incursions by Chinese aircraft into what Taiwan considers to be its airspace. And definitely the sabers are rattling on this one. And if China were to invade Taiwan, I mean, the United States has already issued a warning to China not to do that. And it would be politically damaging for the United States to back down. And that's why I think that if China invades Taiwan, we're looking at a major war in the Western Pacific. There's the music. Time for me to get on out of here. Stay tuned for John Stedmiller. I'm sure he's got lots of interesting things to share with you. And please spread the word of Republic Broadcasting. Please spread the word of whatreallyhappened.com. Please donate. We need your help. We'll be back tomorrow. And let's see, Dr. Marilyn Singleton is on with John Stedmiller tonight. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.